When people betray you, when they laugh at your dreams, when they walk away in your hardest moments, don't waste your energy trying to prove them wrong. Channel it into building something right. Let your success speak where your anger falls silent. There's a certain kind of power in silent growth, a power that doesn't need applause or validation to thrive. When you begin your journey, people will question you. They'll doubt your abilities, mock your ambitions, and even try to plant insecurities in your mind. Often, this skepticism doesn't come from a place of reason. It comes from their own limitations, their own fears reflected onto your dreams. In those moments, the natural response is to defend yourself, to explain your vision, or worse, to seek their approval. But true growth doesn't argue with noise. It evolves quietly, layer by layer, day by day, until the transformation is too evident to deny. When you grow mentally, emotionally, professionally, people don't need you to explain yourself anymore. Your results become your voice. Your consistency becomes your shield, and your transformation becomes the answer to every doubt that was ever cast upon you. It's important to understand that growth is not always visible in its early stages. Like roots growing underground, the most vital developments often happen in silence and darkness, far from public recognition. But once you begin to bloom, once the fruits of your efforts become visible, the silence you maintained all along becomes your greatest statement. The same people who once questioned your path will now speak of your journey with awe or even regret. But by then, you'll have grown so much that their opinions will no longer define you. You see, real growth doesn't just silence others. It silences the voice of self-doubt within. It replaces insecurity with confidence, comparison with clarity, and frustration with fulfillment. And that's the kind of growth no one can take away from you, not even the loudest critics. In the beginning, the sting of betrayal or humiliation can light a fire within us that feels like rage. It tempts us to prove others wrong, to make them regret ever doubting us. That drive can feel intoxicating, almost empowering, and at times it may even push us forward in the short run. But revenge is a shallow fuel. It burns hot, yes, but it burns out fast. What starts as motivation can quickly turn into obsession, and soon you're not running toward your dreams, you're just running away from your pain. But something beautiful happens when you mature through the process. Slowly, the desire to retaliate begins to fade, and a deeper calling takes its place, the pursuit of purpose. You begin to realize that your worth isn't defined by what others did to you or thought of you. It's defined by what you choose to become in spite of it all. Purpose is the quiet, enduring force that replaces the noise of revenge. While revenge keeps you tethered to the past, purpose pulls you forward into the future. It gives meaning to the mess, clarity to the confusion, and strength to your suffering. When your focus shifts to purpose, you stop playing a petty game of getting back at others and start playing the infinite game of becoming your highest self. You stop asking, how can I make them regret what they did? And start asking, how can I use what happened to help someone else? That's when the real healing begins. Because revenge may give you a moment of satisfaction, but purpose gives you a lifetime of fulfillment. And when you finally find yourself walking in the light of your own growth, you realize you're not trying to outshine anyone. You're simply trying to illuminate your own path and maybe, just maybe, light the way for someone else. There's a quiet pain that comes with being ignored, not because you seek validation, but because deep down, every human being wants to be seen, heard, and acknowledged. When you start your journey, whether it's in your career, your passion, or your personal growth, you'll often find yourself surrounded by silence. The people you expected to support you may distance themselves. Your ideas may be brushed aside. Your efforts may go unnoticed. And the silence isn't always passive. Sometimes it's laced with indifference, or worse, disbelief. But what they don't see in the beginning is the depth of your determination, the strength in your struggle, and the fire you've been quietly stoking behind the scenes. You keep showing up, doing the work, trusting the process, while they remain unaware, uninterested, or unconvinced. But then, slowly and steadily, something shifts. Your efforts start bearing fruit. The things you once spoke about in hope and faith begin to take form in reality. Your name, once unrecognized, begins to circulate in the same spaces where you were once overlooked. Those who scrolled past your posts now pause. Those who never responded to your messages now seek your advice. And those who once questioned your vision now admire your results. This is not about ego, it's about energy. You've become someone who no longer needs to ask for attention because your growth, your confidence, and your consistency command it naturally. Suddenly, the spotlight that once felt so far away is now drawn to you, not because you chased it, but because you earned it. And here's the most liberating part. By the time they start noticing you, you no longer need their validation. The recognition feels nice, sure, but it's not the reason you continued. You kept going because you believed in something bigger than applauses. You grew not to be seen, but to be fulfilled. Now, the very people who once ignored you must witness the version of you that was built in silence and forged in solitude. And while they marvel at the outcome, you smile, not out of pride, but out of peace. Because you know the real reward was never being noticed by them. It was becoming someone who no longer needed to be. There's a natural bitterness that creeps into the heart when we've been wrong, when someone betrays our trust, mocks our dreams, or leaves us when we needed them most. In those moments, it's easy to hold on to resentment, to replay the hurt over and over again in our minds like a broken record. Bitterness convinces us that clinging to pain somehow gives us power or protection. It whispers that we can't let go because doing so means they win. But in truth, bitterness isn't armor, it's poison. It doesn't protect you, it drains you. It doesn't make you stronger, it makes you stuck. You begin to define your life through the lens of the people who hurt you instead of through the person you are becoming. And slowly, the weight of that bitterness dims your light, steals your peace, and holds your joy hostage. But when you begin to truly grow, something starts to shift. The anger fades, not because what happened was okay, but because you're no longer willing to let it live rent-free in your heart. You start valuing your peace more than your pride. You stop asking, why did they do that to me? And start asking, what is life trying to teach me through this? That shift is where healing begins. Inner peace is not the absence of conflict around you, it's the presence of clarity within you. You no longer crave revenge because you've outgrown the need to prove anything. You no longer need apologies because you've made peace without them. Bitterness is replaced with wisdom, empathy, and quiet strength. And in that stillness, you finally realize that peace was the real prize all along. Not proving others wrong, but proving to yourself that your spirit is bigger than your scars.